Yeah, so my name is Jasper Pieterse. I'm from the Netherlands and I'm 21 years old. Um, so you should probably pronounce it Jasper and then Peterson, as in Jordan Peterson. I'm not sure if you know him, but that's basically the English version of my last name. So I'm 21 years old and I've been building websites for about 2.5 years now. And my very first website saw pretty big success until December, in which the core update really just bombed it. But ever since, I've been trying to diversify and building new sites. And currently, I'm sitting at around 5 websites, and I'm starting a sixth one right now. So that's really what I'm doing. And well, I'm no expert at all. I'm just really doing what I know what is working right now for me. So that's really who I am and what I'm doing.
So what inspired you then to start that first website?
Yeah, that's a fun story because I've always been somewhat lazy as a person, not in the sense that I don't want to work, but I'd rather work on something and have it continue to work for me. So I've been looking at things mainly in the online marketing or online income space, what I could do. And I believe my girlfriend came to me and she's told me some things about affiliate marketing. And from there, I really just spiraled into the whole affiliate marketing world, and I found several YouTubers who were creating websites. And I came across a course called Project 24, and those guys were really genuine. And I thought, you know what, if I'm going to start somewhere, I should probably start here. So yeah, I bought their course, and it was mainly about starting websites. And I just went with it, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, with the success that came, I started enjoying it even more. And yes, now we're at this point.
So let's talk about that first site then. You said that you started a site and had quite a bit of success with it, and then it got slaughtered by the Christmas update in December of 2020. So let's talk
Mhm.
about the time before the Christmas update. So
Yeah.
what where did the site go to? How quickly did it get there? And what do you think was special about making that happen? Let's start with traffic. So, when was the site born? Like, when did you register the domain for it?
I registered the domain at this December of 2019.
Okay.
And I started writing somewhere around the 17th, I believe. Let me just see the numbers. December 7th was the very first article on there of 2019. And yeah, it took some months before I finally saw some traffic, but that's normal for
How many
starting a
months
website.
before you really felt like the traffic was significant? Because sometimes people say, oh,
Um,
6 months, 9 months.
It took me 6 months to earn my first $4. And before it really started to get significant, it took me probably 11 months. Yeah.
When was the first month that it got over 1,000 page views in a month?
That was my, let's see, my sixth or fifth month.
Okay. How
Yeah,
many?
because I got, sorry?
No, no, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So I was in a niche that at the time really didn't have any competition at all, as far as I was aware. So yeah, I could really just rank for just about any search term there was. So I had a really slow production rate in terms of articles. So there really wasn't much volume, but I was still getting a lot of traffic early on. So after around 5 months, I was at 1,000, and yeah.
So people's version of production volume is really different depending upon
Yeah.
who they are. So when you say I didn't really do much, for some creators that's 20 articles a month, and for some
Mhm.
creators that's 100 articles a month. So when you say I didn't really do that much, how many articles were you producing a month, especially in those first 6 months?
The first 6 months, I don't have exact numbers, but on average, probably around 10
Okay.
at most. I know December, so my very first month, I had a total of six, I believe. And then the month after, I only had two articles. And in February, I really picked up because, well, I was in the course Project 24, and they have this challenge called the Content Warrior Challenge, in which you have to produce 60,000 words in 1 month. So I participated. I didn't really get to the 60,000, but I believe I published 16 articles or maybe 20, somewhere along those lines. So that's really picked up, but on average, probably around 9 or 10.
So before the Google update came and hammered your site, how
Hmm.
much traffic were you seeing in a month?
I was at 240,000.
So, in 6 months, basically, you went from 1,000
Oh, sorry.
page.
No, this was a year before. That was my second year that the
Okay,
site was.
so
Yeah.
so then so let's see. I'm doing the math. So you started in December
Mhm.
2019,
Yeah.
and then in 12 months,
Oh, sorry. 2018, December 2018. That
okay,
must
so
have been the confusing part.
okay, no, I get it now. So the site was 2 years old by the time Google slammed it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
so that makes more sense. So the first 6 months, it barely did anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the end of year two, you had, what did you say,
Yeah, nearly
240,000 page views?
250, 240, 241,000, I believe.
That is amazing. And so you got the site onto AdThrive, I'm assuming?
Yeah, in June of 2020, I got it on AdThrive, so I was with them for a year. And so I'm still with them at this point.
And then you grew it all the way to 240,000 page views a month. And then Google came through and did its business to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not even its business. It was just insane what happened.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know the pain. I think a lot of
Hmm.
people who will be listening to this know the pain of
Probably,
what that
yeah.
feels like and can commiserate. But I think what's important in this is that having a big site get hammered by Google didn't stop you.
No, it didn't. It has, and even today, I'm really going up and down. So probably the first 2 weeks after the update hit, I just couldn't really get myself to do anything. I was pretty, yeah, I don't want to say depressed, but I was not happy.
I would have been depressed. I think
Yeah,
I would
it
have
was
been
close to.
drowning
I mean, I had a
myself in
few days
alcohol.
that I was just laying in my bed and just didn't do anything.
What was it making before and that was before Christmas, so you missed even part
Yeah,
of the shopping season.
yeah.
What?
So I did some calculations, and in November I made $8,000.
Mm.
Um, and what I saw the previous Q4, so Q4 for my niche is just extremely good. In general, it's really good because the RPMs are going up and spending is going up. But yeah, if you look at Google Trends, I don't want to share my exact niche, but
It's okay.
if you go to Google Trends, you'll see a huge spike in November and December. So these two things combined, in my very first year, I saw a ×2 and then another ×2. So from October to November was ×2, and from November to December was ×2. So I did some calculations, and I should have made in December around $15,000 or $16,000. It ended up being 4.5. But yeah, so my site was running like normal for 8 days, and in those 8 days, it made as much money from Amazon for my affiliate as the whole of November, which was already a crazy month.
And then it was gone.
And then it was gone. Yeah, so I went to the funeral of my girlfriend's grandfather, and I came home, and I was, let's just look at something nice today. And yeah, so I saw all my traffic was plummeted. I was used to getting around 2 to maybe 400 visitors an hour. I was back at 60, I believe. Yeah, so it just all yeah, went down by a lot.
I want to cry for you. I'm honestly like a little like teary-eyed thinking about that, like coming home from a funeral and then opening up your computer and then it just
Yeah, it was just bad things on top of bad things. But yeah.
Man, 2020. Oh my, I literally am like,
Yeah, because the crazy thing is 2020 has been pretty good for me. In January of 2020, I was at just $1,000 income. And in just the 1 year, I went from, I believe, 50,000 page views to almost 250,000 page views, and incomes was from 1,000 to 8,000. So in general, the whole year was amazing. Just the last 3 weeks weren't.
so what would you, if you could pick something that you did right to take this site in 2 years from nothing to what it was before the Christmas update, what do you think you were doing right? Because most people like me, we start a site and completely bungle it, and it goes nowhere, and I end up starting a new site after that. So what did you do that most people don't, do you think?
Yeah, I've thought about it a lot, and I think a large part of the success had to do with the low competition at the time. But I was also producing a lot of articles. The first probably year, I didn't really produce that much. But from there on, I had a few months that I was producing 20, maybe 30 articles a month. And these articles are on average around 2,200 words. So there was a lot of words per month, and I think that really contributed to the numbers of page views I saw. And of course, combine that with good search analysis, so finding the right topics to write about.
So how many articles does this site currently have on it now then, after 2.5
Sure,
years?
right now 375.
375.
Yeah, almost 1 million words right now.
And 1 million words.
Yeah.
Well, you should be commended. And here's what I think. One of the things that you did that most people don't, and I can speak from my experience, is that you kept going. So, right, in the first 6 months, not very much happened, right? In the first 6 months is where a lot of people will do one of two things. They will start another site because they are too hungry for something to happen and they don't feel like that other site is going to do anything. Or two, they quit. They say, oh, well, this is too much work for not much return. So I have no doubt that you did a lot of technical things right, which is amazing. But just initially, I think, man, this guy crushed it because he just kept going. Like he literally just kept going. And that's something that, me included, we just have not done a good job at always.
Yeah. Yeah, for me it was pretty strange because normally right now even I'm in the same boat because I've started 2 websites in the last or since the update hit basically. So I'm just jumbling around everything. But at the time, because I saw some sort of success, whether that was 1,000 page views or maybe 5,000, that really just kept me going. And after I believe 6 months, I saw my first page views coming in, and I just didn't even want to work on anything else. I just saw some success and I was like, let's go, we're going all in on this.
It's one thing I don't think a lot of people on the outside understand is just how addicting it is to get those checks, like to get those deposits in your account on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a drug in a way. It's like, I want to have
it's
that
almost
feeling.
unreal sometimes. I can't really believe it because, yeah, of course, I'm pretty young. I really wasn't supposed to make such numbers of money at my age. It was just pretty unreal. And it's really addicting, yeah.
So looking back at choosing then the niche or the topic for that first site, I mean, was it lucky that you just happened to stumble upon something for the very first site that was not that competitive? Or, was this a methodical like search that resulted in you choosing this particular project to start?
I don't think there was anything methodical. So for my first site, I actually started a finance website a week before I started my the website we're talking about.
The big site. We'll call it the big site.
The big site. Yeah. Okay. So I wrote 2 articles for it, and I was like, yeah, maybe this isn't the best idea to go after such a topic for the first time. So I literally just looked around in my room and I picked a few things I enjoyed the most or that I knew something about. And then I literally went to my parents and asked them, so I have 3 topics here, just choose one and I'll go with it. So that's how I picked my topic.
I love that.
It was really scrappy, but it worked.
You know what? I guess it comes back to the idea that sometimes you just have to start, right? And maybe
true.
maybe you hit it out of the park the first time and maybe you don't. I mean, I didn't. But that's a great example of what can happen if you just say, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to let picking a niche or picking a topic stop me, right? I'm just going to get in there and see what happens. And for you, you got in there and turned it something really, well, until Christmas.
Until Christmas. I'm going to make it work out again.
So now I'm sure you've had some time to think about that site. And obviously you have not given up. But what do you think made this site vulnerable to that update? Do you know? And what are you trying to do to make it better?
So yeah, my main thing that I think is influencing my rankings, my drop in rankings, is at the time it was 2.5 years ago. I was just starting. English isn't my first language, so I was not struggling with writing, but I maybe didn't have fluent sentences, and it was just subpar in some way. And I think because my competition was so low that it still got through. But now with competitors out there that are maybe more fluent in English, I think these are now outranking me because my articles weren't that great. So that's the main thing that I think has influenced my drop.
But as far as the Google update, then, do you think that there was an adjustment then to the way Google was reviewing the content? Because that would presume that was an adjustment in the algorithm, because over time, people who wrote better content would, outrank you on an article basis, but like all basically in one day. I mean, that
Yeah.
implies that the algorithm changed.
Yeah, so I was about to mention because right now, the update, it literally hit every single article. So not only the ones with better articles out there, but with higher competition, but even the ones that had extremely low competition, that weren't really even bringing in that many page views, they're still getting outranked at this point by forums and by Reddit and such things. So I do think that my site just got targeted for some reason. Yeah, and I'm just not sure why or how it happened. But the one thing I do know is that my articles could use some improvement. So that's what I'm doing right now. And whether the next update will revert some things, at least my articles will be better.
This seems like a site that would be ideal to bounce back in a rollback or in a future update as other things will be tweaked, because it's just hard for me to imagine how forums would appropriately rank over the top of a site that had so much content. It seems like, I hate to say that I think that will happen, because I don't know, right? I don't have a crystal ball, but it just seems like this would be the ideal site to gain potentially in future updates.
Yeah, that's really what's keeping me going at this point, because I'm really just banking on the next update to at least revert some traffic back. I'm not looking for the 250,000 again, but even just 100,000 would be great. I lost about 80% in the update alone. And right now, from January to April, where we're at now, I'm still seeing a very slow decline.
In the analysis, the post-analysis period, when everybody was scrambling after the update, it seemed like there were several sites that were very heavily focused on Amazon affiliate, almost primarily focused on Amazon affiliate, that got hit. And so I wondered, as far as the balance of your posts, how many of those posts were commercial affiliate type posts, and do you think that had any impact on you being sucked into this update?
Yeah, definitely. So it's kind of hard to explain because I don't want to reveal my niche, but
you don't have to reveal your niche.
Yeah,
it's not
but
required.
so for this niche, basically 95% of the articles you can write and that will actually be searched are best X for Y posts and article product focus posts. So I'd say definitely right, like 350 of the 375 are affiliate heavy posts.
Do you think that was part of the reason then?
I want to think that, but one thing that's holding me back is the websites that are now outranking me are the exact same. They are also just best X for Y websites.
Yeah, but you also said that some of your posts were being outranked by Quora and by forums.
Yeah.
And so these are websites that have almost no commercial content on them and are really heavily focused on info.
Yeah, but the bulk is outranked by other best X for Y websites. So the forum posts, the forums that are outranking me, that's only happening for a few of the articles. But mainly my articles are now being outranked by a lot of best X for Y posts. Most of my articles got from the #1 spot to page 2, sometimes page 3. So there's a lot of websites that are in between me and the top spot again. But a lot of these websites are either pretty spammy or, but with a lot of affiliate posts, of course, links, or they're the better, more improved versions with the better grammar and stuff. So yeah, I'm just really not sure what's happening.
Have you done any, to the extent that it's possible, like any sort of review on your competitors that are outranking you to see if they also have info content that balances out their commercial content?
I did, and I couldn't really find that much. It wasn't a significant enough ratio for me to think that might be the case.
And to dump a lot of time and effort into producing whatever info content that you could figure out for the site.
Yeah, yeah, it didn't really justify it. I am still going to do it, but right now my focus is on improving my top 50 articles, at least what used to be my top 50. Those really brought in the bulk of my page views. So there's the focus is at those articles right now. But after that, I'm definitely going to be updating with more informational posts where I can find.
Do you think there's any room in this niche for YouTube? You think, okay,
There is, I think so, yeah.
this niche apparently performs really well in October, November, and December. You say, is there room for this in October, November, and December for maybe videos in some way? I assume if you're on AdThrive that you at least have some video or some kind of video content to make money off of ads.
Yeah, I made two like 40-second videos, but those are the slideshow kind of videos. They aren't really YouTube material, but there are a bunch of pretty large YouTubers in this space. I even made contact with one of the largest. He has 1 million subscribers, 1 million plus. Yeah, in 2019, I believe he contacted me. But there is a lot of there's a large audience for this topic, but it's just very difficult to get through because I'm not really sure why, but YouTubers are just so much more common in this niche.
That's interesting. So maybe one of the reasons why you've had this success is that most people who want to jump into this niche just go straight to YouTube and sort of skip over the whole side that written content could be a way to make money in the niche.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's definitely one of the reasons why the competition was so low. Because even back when I started, there were a lot of YouTubers in this niche. But yeah, I'm just not sure why nobody's doing written content, or used to at least.
But since the Christmas update, you've decided to start some new projects.
Yeah, that's right.
And without like giving away the niches or the URLs, because again, I don't think that's necessary. What do you see yourself doing differently this time as you start new sites compared to what you did with your finance site and then the big site?
Yeah, so the finance site is basically it's useless. I even deleted it. I don't no longer have it. That was very short-lived, but the main thing I'm focusing on right now is to not have an affiliate-heavy website. So for one of the websites I started recently, I have around 50 articles in there, and I believe none of them have an affiliate link as of now. There is room for a few links, but it's not the main focus.
So you're thinking mostly just to earn with display ads?
Yeah, but there's definitely room for affiliate links. But whereas I used to have like a top 10 for X, I now have I'm now talking about a topic with just a normal mention of a product. So that's a big difference. Whereas I used to have like 15 links in a post, I will now have only 1 or maybe 2 at max.
So you got started into this this world. Project 24 was your introduction. That was your gateway. That was what introduced you to it. I mean, what would you say are the primary benefits or things that you took away from your experience in Project 24?
I really think that their search analysis, so the way that they find their topics, is, in my opinion, one of the best things I've ever been taught. They just have a very simple and easy approach. That still requires skill, of course, and hard work, but it's a very straightforward way, and you don't have to spend lots of money for certain tools. It's just a very straightforward way to find things that people actually want to look up. So I do think that.
No, go ahead.
I think that's the biggest part, and secondly, their way of writing articles is another big thing for me.
So when you decide that you want to write an article, I mean, what's your process then to figuring out the keyword that you want to write on? I mean, do you sit down and say, okay, I just want to write about this, or how do you go about saying this is what I want to write about?
So I've got a very large spreadsheet with around.
We all have spreadsheets. I've got like 1,000 of them.
Yeah, same here. So I got one like main spreadsheet per website, and in that spreadsheet I just have a list of maybe 100, 200 articles that I'm and titles that I'm actually going to write. So I usually just pick one of these titles. I'm just giving it a quick look if it's still current and still the traffic, or sorry, the competition is still the same.
And how do you evaluate that?
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, it's a very straightforward approach. I just Google the phrase, what I'm trying to rank for. It's usually the title. And then I just look at the top 4. And if the top 4 has any forum in there, I'm just, it's an easy win for me.
Yeah.
If there's a very spammy or low quality website, it's an easy win. If there's a good website but with an article with 500 words, I know that a more in-depth article with maybe 1500 words can outrank it. And if there's something huge there, like BuzzFeed or something, I just skip it entirely.
Same.
So that's basically my competition analysis.
And so then, are you outsourcing anything at all, or are you doing it all yourself?
Yeah, so in November, when everything was still going great, I was making a lot of plans of expanding. So my original plan was to outsource at least 100 articles a month. I even hired 6 writers. So yeah, I had to let 4 of them go. 2 are still with me. Yeah, it was pretty sad. So I hired them, and a week later they could all go again. Yeah, so yeah, it was pretty painful, and it's kind of hurts your reputation, because who's going to take you seriously after that? But so yeah, I still have 2 writers, and they produce, I believe, maybe 10 articles a month extra. And if I still have some extra money laying around, I'm going to Fiverr or Upwork or some sort of a marketplace where I can hire another writer.
Where did you find the writers that you currently hired?
I had on ProBlogger.
Mm.
Yeah, so me and a friend, we both were looking for writers, so we split the bill, and we just had another spreadsheet, of course, with all the writers or all the participants, and we had them all do a paid test post, and we just got the best ones.
That's actually a really interesting idea, because it costs what, 70, 80, $100 a month or something?
75 for a 2-week ad, I believe.
Yeah, so you could get together with 1 or 2 or 3 people and say, we're looking for writers in A, B, C, and D, and then get applications for basically everybody's niches all at once.
Yes, yeah, we just had a large list with, I had, I believe, 4 niches I wanted writers for, and he had 5, so we had a list of 9 niches, and we just connected a Google form where they could say what niche they were interested in or had experience with. That was a really easy way, and it cost a lot less money.
No kidding, especially if you could split it up even more.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just
I mean, I'm sure you can find 5 people that want to find writers.
So recently you made the jump to YouTube. I just came across your YouTube channel, in the last month or 2, and just noticed that you were posting income reports. And I love income reports, especially from people who are earlier on in the journey, because I just think those are, 1, inspirational, and 2, there's a lot to be learned from people who are authentically in the trenches. You know, it's not a course. And what inspired you to jump to YouTube?
Well, I've been debating doing YouTube since, I believe, May of 2019. I really wanted to start it, and I've always been camera shy, really camera shy, and that probably shines through in my very first few videos, probably still. But yeah, so I've always wanted to do it. I bought a microphone, and I could borrow a camera from my girlfriend. So I had all the equipment, but I just kept delaying it until the core update hit. And I was like, my plan was to diversify, and I thought one of the best ways to diversify is to finally just start a channel. And you know, I'm enjoying it so much more than I initially thought I would. Finding topics is pretty hard, and making thumbnails is even harder for me, but yeah, so that's basically, it started as just a way to diversify, but it's really turning into another hobby.
So looking forward, if you could, I guess, be in a specific place 12 months from now, what would your business look like, and what do you think would be ideal if you just cranked for the next 12 months? I mean, where would you hope to be?
Yeah, so I made a plan. The very first thing, and I think the most important thing for me, is that my big website is going back up to at least some resemblance of what it used to do. because that way it really was the money earner. That I was depending on that income. I don't have any other jobs, so I was depending on that website to pay my rent and my bills and stuff. So the main focus is to get that one back up and running. But in 12 months, there's a lot of time. I started 2 new websites, and ideally I would like those at around 100, maybe to 200 articles. And best case scenario, they are already earning some money.
What do you think is the strategy then to get there? Is it just crushing content? We haven't talked at all about building links or email marketing or social media or anything. Is it just like post as much content as possible?
Yeah, for me, it's always been about posting content. I never did anything with link building. Building an email list is the exact same as starting a YouTube channel for me. I've been talking about it for a very long time, never did it. Kind of regret it right now, but yeah, so for me, it's really just cranking out a lot of content and doing the right search analysis, finding the right topics. That's what worked for me in the past. It's what's working right now. And as long as it doesn't work, I'm just going to focus on that.
So far, we've talked a lot about building up websites and haven't talked necessarily about selling them. Do you think that your experience with the Christmas update would encourage you to try and sell a site when it was high, when it looked really good, to avoid going through that pain again?
Yeah, definitely. So I've been looking at it also since November. So just before the update hit, I was really looking at flipping websites because I had a lot of money coming in, and with about like 5,000, you can buy a pretty solid website. And with some tweaks and maybe a better ad network or some better placed affiliate links, you can really ramp up the income and just flip it again. So that's really something on my mind. I was debating on getting my big website back up and then just selling it off. I'm not 100% sure if I still want to do it, but I am definitely more encouraged to sell websites after what just happened.
Do you think that the bounce from the update will impact the potential multiple that you could get for the site?
I think so, yeah. I've been looking around at certain forums and websites that were talking about selling websites, and core update hits aren't really taken lightly with selling websites. So I do think it will cut the multiple or the factor. Yeah, I think it will influence it sadly. So that's really why I'm debating still, because if I could still sell it for maybe 40 times income, yeah, I think I do it in a heartbeat right now. Especially because with a 40 times multiple, I would make almost $500,000 with just one website. So yeah, that's welcome.
So if there was one creator or one person in this, or even one company in this space that you could get in front of to maybe either learn from them or to talk to them or to have coffee with them, can you think of anybody off the top of your head to be like, yeah, I would love to sit down and talk to those guys?
Yeah, and this is someone that isn't any sort of social media personality at all. It's a Israeli woman, I believe. She's called Anne, and she has a website called yesh.com. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but it's a yeys.com. And she
I know. I mean, I don't know her, but I know of her. She's
you know of her website, yeah.
Yeah, she's in the
really my inspiration.
Yeah, she's in the Fat Stacks forum.
Yeah. So I've been willing to join the Fat Stacks forum just to be more in touch with the people over there. But yeah, she's my big inspiration. She used to be in the Project 24 forum as well. I'm not sure she's still there. I don't think so. But yeah, she really is doing what I'm aspiring to do. And that's building a very large team with a lot of writers and building a lot of websites and just building them up to big numbers. So yeah, well, if there's anyone?
No, I said, well, what about her method? I mean, she's not the only one who's doing it, though. So like, what about her specifically is like, this is the person I want to talk to?
It's probably because I don't really know many more people that are building a lot of websites and that are consistently building a lot of websites that are doing great numbers. Because any website she seems to make is doing great, as far as I'm aware.
I also think her attitude is really good. Whenever I see her posting around on forums and things, I mean, she seems like well grounded and authentic and real. And so I can totally understand why that would be a good person you'd want to talk to, because you feel like you could have a good experience talking to her and probably learn something from her.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and she just seems very helpful. Any posts I read from her, she just seems extremely helpful. And since she's doing what I want to do in the future, and she has the process set up and the workflow, I think having a talk with someone like that is extremely beneficial.
Awesome. Well, we're moving towards wrapping up. So I wanted to ask you, if people wanted to find out more about you or they wanted to follow your journey, where is it that you think that they should go?
So currently my main place where I'm sharing stuff is my YouTube channel. It's my name, so Jasper Pieterse or Jasper Pieterse.
Yeah, we'll make sure to put the link in the show notes and in the description of this, wherever it gets posted.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Dutch names can be difficult. Yeah, that's really my main place where I'm sharing my numbers right now. I am thinking about making a website as well, just to document it, to share. But for now, it's my YouTube channel. Yeah, that's basically it for now.
Awesome. Well, what I would really love to do is check in with you again in maybe 6 months or 12 months and just see how, one, the new sites are going, and two, if you manage to like rescue the big site, because I would love to see the big site be returned.
I'm going to pray it happens, and I'm excited to hopefully show those numbers once again.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to be here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.